Hi, this is Joe Metzger from Metzger Fitness, and as you can see, I went skiing today. That's how I did my aerobic workout today. Hey, nobody says cardio can't be fun, right? It got me thinking about cardio though and how we want to gauge our efforts in that area. Now, most of us know that it's a heart rate-based activity, and most of us know that the formula for that is 220 minus your age times 0.7 for your low number and 0.85 for your high number. That area in between there, between your low number and your high number, that's called your theoretical max, and that's for aerobic conditioning. That's where you want your heart rate to be. Now, if you're pretty deconditioned, I would suggest maybe that you start it all the way down at 0.65 and start there. So that's the basic formula. Today I want to add a little something that's going to take your individual fitness into account, and it goes like this: 220 minus your age minus your resting heart rate. All right, and you get that number, and then you apply your 0.7 and your 0.85. Now, once you have those numbers, what you do is you add your resting heart rate back in. So, for example, for me, 220 minus my age, which is 56, minus my resting heart rate, which is 50, is 114. So then I would take 0.7 of that number for my low end and 0.85 of that number for my high end, and then I would add my 50 resting heart rate back in to both of those, and that would give me my theoretical aerobic range. All right. The other thing you want to think, so the next thing you want to think about is, how do I get my resting heart rate? You want to take it when you first wake up in the morning. So what I want you to do is, for 3 days, when you're laying in bed, right before you get up, I want you to take your heart rate. Average those numbers together, and that's your resting heart rate. And that's the Karvonen heart rate formula. It takes into account your fitness because, you know, most of the time, if your heart rate's a little bit fast, it probably means that you're not that physically fit. And if you get a nice, strong heart, it's beating slower than most people's, right? So it gives you a good idea of where you stand. That being said, I also want to talk about another formula, which is perceived exertion. And that's real simple. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard am I working? Am I working at a 7? Am I working between a 7 and an 8.5? That's my aerobic range in there. Am I working that hard, or am I working less than that? If you're working harder than 8.5, you're probably starting to get to where you're being a little bit anaerobic, and you're probably not going to be able to maintain that level. So I like to use both to begin with, perceived exertion and Karvonen heart rate formula. I think the mix is good. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people have relatively high heart rates naturally, even though they're fit, and some people have slow heart rates naturally. Also, any medication that you're taking can have an effect on that. It can speed up or slow down your heart rate, or any injuries that you might have had in the past can speed up or slow down your heart rate. So this is a good time again to talk about your doctor. You know, before you start any fitness program, always consult with your physician so you know what your particular needs are. So use both to begin with. I think you'll find as you go along and as you get better at it and do more cardio, pretty soon you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to say, well, I'm working at, you know, a 7.5 or 75% of my theoretical max. And when you actually count your heart rate, you're going to be pretty close. The two really begin to come together, and what you're perceiving and what you're actually doing gets to be very similar. So those are the two methods you can try for your aerobic activities. So let's go out and let's do some cardio.